Hey guys, Justin here with the Leverage Podcast, and I got another awesome guest in studio. As most of you guys know, we only do about 10% of our podcast in studio, so every time we get to do it in studio, I am absolutely stoked. And so we have an awesome guest from the local Dallas area doing all kinds of crazy things. I know him from real estate, but I know he's always got his hands in a lot of different projects, whether it's virtual assistants, whether it's probably some investment stuff you got going on. So welcome to the show, man.
Hey, I appreciate being here.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So like we always do with our audience, I know a ton about you, but I want you to kind of just like, for those watching that have no clue who you are, give them a little bit about what you're up to today, and then we'll kind of dive a little bit into your backstory here in just a bit.
Okay, yeah. So without going into a backstory, I mean, currently I'm a commercial real estate broker here in DFW. We also work in multiple states, probably close deals in about 14 states, but we work heavily with residential realtors on getting referrals. But yeah, I'm a commercial broker at heart, been doing it 21 years, so cool. That's the main thing.
I love that. And a lot of people following me, even probably watching this, are in the residential side, which is why I think this episode's cool, because like that's when I first came across you, is when you were like, hey, I help residential real estate agents, which I think is a cool lead gen method, right? To help residential real estate agents that have no clue about commercial at all. Did you start in commercial when you were 18 years old, 15 years old? I always jokingly say on this, like most of our guests didn't wake up when they were 5 years old and go, I want to be a commercial broker doing this. Or maybe you did. So like, so what's your backstory to becoming a commercial broker?
I guess back in college, I decided, I kind of watched my parents do the 9-to-5 thing, and it was kind of, this is the path, you go to high school, then you go to college, then you get a job, you work hard, you take your 2-week vacations every year. That was just the path, right? I had no outside influence on this, what it could look like, should look like, but for whatever reason, that just didn't appeal to me at the time. And so when I got into college, I sought out entrepreneurship. I don't know why. Maybe in my mind, I thought that was more freedom. Yeah, because that turns out to be the opposite.
At some point, there's freedom. We don't know where that's at yet. We're getting there.
Yeah, I like that, the idea of being an entrepreneur more. Had a great professor at University of North Texas. Some of the classes I did not like, and I realized I didn't want to be traveling overseas the majority of my midlife, which a lot of that would have been if I gone down that path. So I found real estate. I met the professor, Dr. Bain, who unfortunately passed away, but he was an amazing professional in the real estate arena. I moved into that with a minor in entrepreneurship. I got my degree in real estate, and what they focused on was actually commercial.
Interesting.
What he focused on, what I really appreciated in his classes was, it was only say 5 or 10% residential, contractual. The rest was, he would look you in the eyes and say, look at me, chickens. This is for you. I don't care about the grades. I don't care about the school. This is for your financial future. They won't teach you this. This is what you need to know. And it was how to evaluate real estate, why you should buy, why you shouldn't buy. And that was fantastic. So it was invaluable.
Well, just to stop you real fast, you're the only second person I know that graduated from UNT. My buddy who graduated from there, same degree, same everything, and he was commercial real estate too. Went straight into the Jerry Jones world of commercials. It's interesting. They must have a really good program up there around that.
One of the top 5 in the country.
Wow.
When I went to school. But yeah, I mean, even the finance weed out class for ours, the average grade was like 45.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, after that, I did try residential. I didn't know anything different. Again, I had no mentors, no coaches. My grandma at lunch one day said, I know Abby Halliday. She's a good friend of mine here in Dallas. Why don't you go talk to Abby? I'm like, cool. I had no any difference. So went and talked to Abby, had lunch with her, and she's like, I want you to come work for me. And she basically has one simple test. It's your handshake.
Yeah.
Do you look me in the eye when I talk to you? And how's your handshake? Firm handshake, a professional handshake? She's all about it. She's all in.
Yeah.
So went to work from her. I did residential for probably 2 months.
Okay.
And that was the end of it. Blue wallpaper, blue carpet. People walked to the front door, and I was like, let's go. They're like, we can't even go inside. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It didn't register. So anyways, jumped into commercial real estate shortly after that. But again, no mentor, no coach. The people at Abby Halliday said, there's a desk and a phone. Yeah. Good luck. This is back in 2005.
Okay.
Yes, that sucks.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. It's funny you say that with residential. I currently have my home listed, and it's funny that I had a buyer come in this morning and they said, well, we love the home, but we don't like that it has a pool. And we all looked at each other and we went, it's in the first part of the listing description. It literally says sparkling pool in a neighborhood that doesn't have pools. Yeah. Literally it's all in the photos. Why did you want to come do it? So I get that all day long. Like, oh yeah, I'm sure you have your pros and cons of residential versus commercial, but like just different challenges.
What we're seeing right now is people are really well, actually it's been the entire time. People reach, just for example, I got a group want to buy a pickleball facility to put 4 courts in. They want to buy it. When I send emails out to brokers, I say, purchase this area, Fort Worth, North Fort Worth. I get people sending me stuff in Granbury, Waxahachie. Yeah, but have they looked down here? I'm like, but they're not driving 2 hours.
Well, and the market's probably not there as much either for that demand for That's funny. I'm from Granbury, which is funny that you say that.
Well, Granbury's a weird market. We have a listing out there, beautiful listing. I think it's priced great, but when people call on it, they're like, "Ooh, but we're in Granbury." I'm like,
yeah.
There's still nothing out here.
I'd love to ask you a question on the commercial side. So you say you work for Ebby, you say you're in commercial, there's like a desk, a phone.
Yeah.
You really have no mentorship at that time. Like, how did you dive into the industry? Because I know a lot of our followers on here, like a lot of them are switching industries, or a lot of them are in an industry where they don't feel like they have a lot of mentorship. So like, how did you kind of dig into that? And like, did you ever fall into mentorship? Did you ever find a mentor that actually took you in commercial? Or was it just like, I figured it out over 20 plus years?
A lot of it was a crash and burn method.
Yeah.
Right? You just try something out, like, holy crap, that didn't work. What next? You don't stop.
Yeah.
It's time on task over time. Eventually you will win.
Yeah.
Like, if you get into real estate and you can hold on, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Real estate doesn't go down forever. Unfortunately, at the time, they didn't have someone in the right position helping, but I had a massive lead for a large development. They bailed on me. I quit the next day. That wasn't acceptable to me. So I joined KW back in 2007. Was there for 10 years. Fantastic experience. A little bit more structured there as far as what we were leaning into commercial-wise. But again, they didn't guide me. I had no mentor or coach, so I didn't know what to do. They just told me to start calling people. Well, I didn't want to cold call. It sounded like crap. And it still sucks. I still do it once in a while, but I don't. So I thought, where the hell can I get leads from? And I just thought, I know probably more about commercial than any of these residential agents do. They are supposed to, according to, all the coaching and training they have, 100 calls a week.
Yeah.
It's metrics, right? You follow the guide. They give you a blueprint. That's your blueprint. Well, I'm not going to do that blueprint because I'm not going to harass that many people, but they will.
Yeah.
So I just leaned into them and said, why don't you call and say, make it simple. Look, I know we've been helping you with your residential, but guess what? Now we can also help with your commercial real estate. We love the opportunity. We have a great partner in mind. I would create the flyer for them. I would give it to them to send out to their sphere. It was a point of contact. And before I knew it, with that time on task over time, I started to win. I started to get leads. And now, I get 3 to 4 a week.
Well, and that's funny you say that, because back in my day, for those who know, I was in real estate at KW, also Keller Williams first. They were teaching you need to ask these people if they're like, I'm helping them buy and sell residential. They're like, ask if they have any commercial property. And in my young, naive head, at probably like 18 is when I got licensed, 19, right around there. I went, none of these people own businesses. For me at the time, I thought, oh, business owners are just like out of reach. Like, it's not really a thing. And then it was probably 2 years into the company where I think one of our clients that bought a big home, sold a big home, we make a lot of commission on it. He ended up, I think, purchasing like a $32 million property. And, someone like you that was in our office at the time, she did the same thing, and we just kind of ignored her, thought she was kind of weird. And we were like, yeah, whatever. She's like, if you would have just sent that name and number over to me and you knew about that, you would have made 25, 30, 40%, whatever the commission percentage split would have been for us for doing nothing.
Probably about 200.
Yeah, I would have made like 200 grand, which at that time, like, I was making 150 a year, right? Showing 45 buyers around the state of Colorado. Because I was younger, and I wasn't selling $1 million homes, which is kind of where we kind of lived around. I was driving out to Greeley and like these places 2 hours away just to sell an $85,000 trailer, because that's the time all the leads I had. And so I was like, you told me I could have made 200 grand. I think it was kind of funny. The realization I had was like, I was going to make 200 grand. How much were you going to make?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, about 600. And I was like, well, how many deals do you do a year? Which is obviously different, right? Yeah. She's not doing 45 deals. I'd love to talk about that. Like, you're in an industry a lot of people won't jump into, because I know in my office, at least in Keller Williams, there was like a guy, there's 2 people doing commercial out of, I think, 200 people, 2 out of 200. And sometimes I'd walk in and he was an older gentleman. They were always just like drinking some McDonald's, eating McDonald's, watching YouTube videos. And I was always like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I only do like 3 deals a year, but they average like $40 million a piece. And I'm like, so talking about that, because a lot of people don't make a jump in an industry like yours because like there's probably a larger time between paychecks.
Right. And it depends. Most people, when they think of just the big multifamily or the big building, this big office tower, but that's not the case. Sometimes we do small deals. Sometimes we'll put a taco shop in a retail center or a nail salon, right? So it really is across the board. It really depends on where your niche wants to be. I became a generalist by default because, again, I went to the residential agents and I said, look, if you need something, I'm going to help. I need money. I'm broke.
Doesn't matter if it's leased,
I don't care.
Yeah, just keep
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? Just go down the path and I'll figure out the aim later. I'm going to go ahead and fire now and I aim later. So yeah, but I do probably, I'd say 15 to 20 deals a year.
Okay.
And they'll range anywhere from $500,000 up to 25,
yeah,
30 million.
Well, it's crazy because, one at 10, 15, 20 million is worth, however many that's 60 residential deals.
Yeah, but it can take a long time. We just, we closed on a deal February 4th and that was 21 months.
Wow.
And I'll make 300 grand. Yeah. 21 months and I still haven't got paid yet. It's still in escrow because we had a fire in the building. So it was uninsurable. So we closed, but they couldn't release some of the funds until the insurance proceeds were released. And so it's just sitting there.
Man, that's
What if you needed that? What if you stopped working
and you're
because you knew that was coming in February and you had all these vacation plans or remodel the house or what do you do?
Yeah.
One of the reasons people don't get into it is because people understand houses.
Yeah.
I know the mechanics. I live in a house. I get it. When I talk about commercial, okay, well, now it's not a 1 year lease, a 3 to 5 year lease. Okay, well, what is TI? What are triple nets? What do they change? How do I reconcile that? Who's going to manage it for me? It's a 5 year lease.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have annual escalation? And they're just different animals. It's not rocket science. It's still just connecting dots. But I mean, I love it. But we only make up 5% of the realtor pool because we are primarily a want, not a need.
That makes sense.
You need somewhere to live. You don't have to have a space to rent.
Yeah, especially now, kind of more in a remote world. But I think it's probably like any other industry, you're probably starting to see, I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you're probably starting to see a lot of the older generation that's been in the seats for so long in the commercial real estate. It's kind of like, I think a lot of industries where you're kind of seeing the old guard kind of go out, leaving kind of this vacancy for some of you guys to really.
Yeah, we're seeing much more young people in the commercial real estate space.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And it's toning down a little bit from the good old boy network back in the day.
Yeah.
We're seeing more product and more people willing to share information and opportunities, where in the past it was like, it's cutthroat.
Yeah, I remember you guys' technology. They're like, well, this technology doesn't connect to this technology, and you got to pay a membership to see this and see that. And I know in our market out in Colorado, it was absolutely crazy. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about like the entrepreneurship journey. Like, where were your mistakes? Like, what would you say like were a few mistakes that you made just by learning? Right? I had a guest on yesterday, and he's like, I didn't pay taxes for 20 years, and another guest like, oh, I didn't do my P&Ls for 10 years, and I got a huge deal opportunity, and I couldn't invest in it because I didn't have my P&Ls right. So like for you along this journey, like what are 1, 2, you might have 10, but like what were like 1 to 2 things you kind of learned through trial by fire? Because you were kind of saying without a mentor, you're gonna figure a lot of it out.
The reality is, if you're a solopreneur, I mean, you don't have a business. You're a one-man show. If something happens to you, you're screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, the first step there is to realize you need to have a business, so you need to understand what the P&L looks like. So at least have a good tax prep. At least understand, okay, if I'm only making 100 grand now, there's not too much to worry about. However, if my goal is to get to 7 figures, gross or net, that comes with other implications that I can and can't do. I need to understand what that looks like, or at least let's go ahead and set it up so I'm protected when I get there.
Yeah.
Right. Let's have a plan in mind. That was a big thing. And then, it's leverage, because as a young person, you want to feel like I can handle it. I don't need the help. They can't do it like I can do it. But the reality is you don't need a mirror. You just need someone to be able to handle the majority of it, so you have the opportunity to spend your time on the 20%, your money-making activities, because the rest of it is just nonsense. It does not take rocket science.
Well, talk to me like what leverage did you get? Because like whenever I deal, because obviously the virtual assistant's what people know me for, and it seems like if I talk to residential versus commercial real estate agents, I mean, residential agents, it takes a little bit to convince them, like, hey, you need like a VA or an in-person assistant. And when you talk to a commercial agent, like, no, I can do it all myself.
Like you said earlier, the successful res agents are knocking out 40 plus deals a year.
Yeah.
A couple hundred maybe. They have a lot of back end support they need.
Yep.
On our end, if they're only doing 10 deals a year, they don't need a whole lot.
Yeah.
And if they have no desire to increase that or do more,
That makes sense.
Where do they need leverage, right? But for the ones who actually want to build a business where they can actually step away and have that continue past retirement or whatever, then of course we need leverage. And there's so many things that we could do. It's the property searches if they can get access. So we have to use Crexy and LoopNet, not CoStar. CoStar's a different story, right?
Yep.
We don't use MLS, so they can help with that.
A lot of your stuff's off market too, probably, right? Just like connections and calling. And
but that comes into CRM management as well. Like I actually just reached back out to your people because I need a better social media and CRM management person. So we're going to interview those because I need that. That's the back end stuff that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like we just talked about a minute ago offline that I don't want to freaking post every day.
Yeah.
But I understand I can't be a ninja agent who's ghosting everybody. I need to be out front and public because I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. And I get a ton of business when people know who I am. I'm available. So I understand both sides. I just don't want to do it.
It's funny you say that. I think Moose, who's our CRO, and they've been doing this whole thing with like clones recently. Like all their AIs are clones, and at first I was kind of hesitant to that, because I was like, man, like they know your AI. Like I know you on camera, and I know that's your AI, right? But what was interesting, he told me, and it was kind of on this topic. He's like, well, here's the thing, with the world of AI right now, even if they watch my video and they know it's AI, they're still watching a little bit of it and getting a little bit of the context.
Yeah.
And he's like, that alone is better that they're getting the context of what I'm doing than if I just don't do it at all. I think you got some kids, right? It's like, how can I do it but not have to do it type of situation. So no, that's awesome. So leverage with some, I think you got some VAs on your team.
Yeah.
Like what other pieces of leverage are available in the commercial world?
I was hesitant to get a VA as well, even knowing you.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't do enough deals. Where would I spend their time? But with the business partner in Austin, we realized that, okay, if we want to get to where, because we're doing, I don't know, combined, we're probably 50, 60 million a year.
Nice.
We want to be, 500 million.
Yeah.
We want to be easily breaking to 7 figures, have a bigger team, and just that'll allow me to more coach and mentor and pass along as opposed to me working these structured deals, which I love doing.
Yeah.
I'll be in this industry for life, but I'll probably be a developer and investor primarily over doing what I'm doing now.
Makes sense.
But we were paying a girl out in California $4,000 a month with bonuses. Yeah. And the reality was, if you look back, she did a great job.
Yeah.
But the time on task, what she was doing, it could have been offloaded to a $6 an hour person, and we wouldn't have seen any difference.
Yeah.
So we just didn't have enough activities to make it. If I told her, I said, look, I'd love to pay $200,000 a year, but if in order to do that, I need you to send me business.
To bring this amount of.
Yeah. But then you switch over to the VA side, and the first one I hired, honestly, it wasn't a good match, but it wasn't their fault. It was my fault.
Yeah.
Because I thought they should come pre-trained, pre-ready to go.
No.
Like you think I'm hiring this company. Well, it's not. You're still hiring a person.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I was telling people, look, if you hire a VA, you need to train them just like you bring someone in that just got out of college.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you like to do things? If you do that properly, it still may not be the first one, but now you have the right SOP, the right game plan, the right systems, and that will help tremendously. And
And I think too, it's like in your guys' industry, like we work in industries a lot, like real estate, like where it's like, you don't have to have someone, right? We talk about this all the time, like, and you know this from commercial, if you go help a doctor by a doctor's office, right? When you help the doctor by a doctor's office, you're not going to ask the doctor, hey, are you going to be in this place by yourself? You're going to be like, well, no. Or how many, are you going to have a reception desk? Are you going to have a back of office? Are you going to, like, how many nurses are you going to have? And like, so there's these industries where you don't have to have any, like real estate, you don't have to have any help. You can do it by yourself, but just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yes.
And so I'm sure you get that a lot in commercial. You're like, well, yeah, I know you can do it by yourself, but should you do it by yourself is a completely different story. So let's talk a little bit about like, where's the pathway for like someone like you in commercial? Like you keep scaling, you keep growing, you say you start investing, do things like that. Like what's kind of the next step for you in that
Well,
world?
it really depends. You see different models because some people just build a massive book of business, they collect a lot of properties, and they just retire.
Yeah.
Some people try and sell their book of business. Some people, they'll form a company over that 30-year period and have 15 agents, and they're just looking to sell the CEO seat. A large majority along the way we've seen our clients make money. We've seen how they've done it, what they did to get there, and we've asked a lot of questions. So you have a pretty good understanding of why they become successful, and it's insider trading is legal.
Yeah.
I mean, right? If we have plenty of clients along the way where if you like them as clients, like if you said to me, hey, I want to go buy this office building in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. I need to raise about $1.5 million. You want to come in with that type of deal?
That makes sense.
And then we would help broker the deal and then put our commission or extra money into the deal. We just do it together.
Yeah.
But you have to find someone you actually want to be in business with you like. It's not everybody.
Man, I didn't even think about that because like back in the day in Colorado where I was at, they always said like the best investment properties would not hit the market because we had so many good agents in the residential world that would just like go into the deal with someone before it ever even came to the MLS. And so it wasn't even like it wouldn't even go off market because like the agent wasn't even trying to show it around. The agent's like, well, I want the deal. Well, you do it with me. Which makes total sense because you're getting to see 10, 20, 50, probably even more. You're probably seeing 100 deals a year, even though you might be doing 20, 30, 40 of them. You're getting to see all kinds of things up front.
Well, I tried to do a development deal and, I brought in a partner I thought could get it done with me, but in the day he couldn't. He bailed at the last minute.
Right.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But it's all a learning process. So I think, for me at least, the idea of developing and constructing something just feels kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to do it. Just
Absolutely.
maybe ego, but I think it's kind of cool. I love seeing stuff come to fruition. Like you see a golf course come to life, or you see just dirt and all of a sudden you come back 3 years later and it's just thriving community. That does excite me along with the investments. Honestly, I would love to get to a point where I'm bringing enough monthly income to just work on deals and help people get into a position because there's a lot of people struggling right now and they just don't have a good path.
Yeah, it's always like, and even I'm in that position now. Like a lot of people think that I can just like retire, and it's like you still have to get to a certain threshold over time. And but I always like to say it's like, do you have to work or do you want to work? Right? You know, you get to choose the deals that you do, and even I'm not in that spot yet. Right? I couldn't just.
As you are
Yeah.
probably painfully aware,
Yeah.
the entrepreneur path and starting and running a business, most people don't see the expense load and the stress you carry in the back end.
Yep.
I mean, sometimes you could literally be a month from shutting down shop and no one knows. All they see is you driving around and posting and like, he's killing it. Amazing.
Yeah.
I've never seen a soccer indoor facility where you kick a ball like Topgolf.
Yeah.
My kids love it. It's a blast. It's not that expensive to go, but being in commercial real estate, I always look at this and think this is a big site.
Yeah.
Their monthly nut's got to be 150
Yeah.
a month before they turn a profit. How many kids have to come in this place and kick a ball to cover 150? That's in my mind, right?
Well, and then you see Topgolf that did that, and it's like now they've been sold. I think they were sold like 50% off last year, because it's like the novelty of it went away. Right? It's crazy you say that. My wife and I, we like to go, like, we're kind of foodies and we love to go to like nice dinners. And I'll always be like, how much do you think the rent is here? And she's like, I am eating my sushi. And why are you thinking about that?
I can't help it. It's just how my brain operates. Even traveling, I love it.
Yeah.
Once you get it, I mean, once you're in that mindset, I mean, you just see it everywhere. I mean, how you travel to Spain or anywhere in the world, and I'm like, you know what they need here?
You're like,
that would be great, right? You know.
Yeah, no, I love that. So obviously in the commercial real estate, you've gone down a whole bunch of different avenues going into the investor side as time grows. What would you say is like the next piece of leverage, like for anybody watching here? Obviously VAs are a piece, but is there anything else that, because I know you value, you know, I've always heard you talk about this in some of the masterminds I've been in with you, of like tying with the kids and doing things like that. And so what's that journey been like for you? Because I know a lot of people watching, like when I talk to my audience, they're like, oh, Justin, do you have kids? I mean, I have dogs, right? You know, and I'm like, well,
I mean, it's tough, and it depends on what kind of family unit you have. If both spouses work or whatever, I'm in a position where I got divorced, and so being a single dad part-time, it's tough. It's a lot of hours. You know, wake up early, you got to drop them off, and you have sports every day, every weekend, so your social life kind of goes out the radar. And so if you want to spend quality time, it's got to be after school or right before the sporting events or driving in the car, which leaves you not as much time to. I can't have a 9 to 5.
The reason I asked that, and I think it's interesting, is because like there's agents in your position that if they did not have leverage and they, you know, were a single dad or things like that, it's like it even eats more into that. So it's like, could you do it all yourself? Yes. It would be at the sacrifice of something.
You have to look at what's the most important thing here. I'm not taking this crap, this house, these cars to the grave. My job is to raise these kids the way they need to be raised. I don't need the teacher doing it. I don't need the government doing it, right? This is my job. So I need to spend as much time with them, and I want to. I love being a dad. As much as I can leverage to get things off my plate, so I only need to focus on what I must focus on, is the ultimate goal. I mean, honestly, I think of Van Wilder. I need a life assistant. He just needs to follow me around my phone. I don't even want to hold the phone. Like, hey, you got a call. Who is it? Nope, you take it. You know, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
If I could just have someone follow me around all day, and they just tell me where I need to be, who I need to talk to, and that would.
That's interesting because, like, I think you're at the place too right now where, like, when you first get into business, I want my first office, or I want my first assistant, or I want my first VA, or whatever it could be. But as you kind of get deeper in, you start to go, well, I used to want to make $1 million a year net, but maybe I would be okay with, which is a backwards talk for a lot of us, but it's like, I want to make $1 million a year net. And I'm not saying this is you, but I hear this a lot of time as people mature into the business. They're like, used to want to make $1 million a year net. Maybe I'll take $850 a year net if I can have that kind of situation. All right. Because I think a lot of times a lot of us are like, we'll try and hold our pennies too much and be like, but I wanted to net $1 million, but it's like, well, yeah, but my family life's crumbling. And my, you know, for me, my wife always knows when we have a big month because she's like, you had a record month, didn't you? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I haven't seen you very much. Right. And I'm like, ooh, so, you know, so then I'll have to go make some hires to go, all right, to repeat that month and it not make it be felt on my wife.
It can get out of control.
Oh yeah.
Well, because I think a lot of the entrepreneurs, you almost gamify it as well. So I got to beat next month. I got to beat it again. I got to beat it again. It's not, okay, well, wins enough is enough, and how can I rehire that? Because while it's exciting and growing and everyone's winning, all right, your health and your family, you can't take this.
Well, and you said something earlier. It's like you have a goal to get to that next level from 50, 60 million to 500 million. The thing that I want the audience to key on is you didn't say, because I want to gross more money. I mean, that's going to happen and that'll be a benefit of your hard work. But you said, because I want to get into a position where I get to mentor agents and grow the company. Because maybe I'm wrong, but like, at least for me, like, once everybody's got a number, but when I hit like 30 grand a month in income, the difference between like 30 and 60, I didn't feel much difference. I didn't go on more vacations. I didn't like, sure, I can save a little bit more, but it's not like my lifestyle went from not eating to eating, right? It was just kind of a number at that point, right? And so I love that you kind of had that like end goal. What's the next steps for you to kind of achieve that goal? And this is kind of, I love on our podcast, we do a lot of like asks. So I'll usually, as we kind of wrap up, I ask two main questions. One of the questions being like, if the audience, if you're being selfish here, this is usually seen by about 50 to 100,000 people. Obviously, for your case, a lot of real estate agents watch me because that's where I came from. Like, what's the one thing that would help you get into that next level? Like a lot of people watching our podcast, they'll put us on a pedestal, right? Which I don't really believe we should be on, but you know, they're like, hey, we follow you and you've had success, which I appreciate. But at the same time, like I like to take our guests down and go, what could you use in your connection world that my audience may have that would take you to that next level? Is it a partner? Is it an investment deal? Is it just, hey, if you're a real estate agent, send me your stuff. You know, you can trust me. Like, what are you looking for in your world to get to that next level?
Okay, well, I mean, in a perfect world, I would have a realtor sending me about 10 family offices who want to work with us, all needing,
I love that.
$50 million. And there you go, 10 of them.
Also, even a family office. Like, even people listening here, we have people that I know do family offices that aren't even real estate too. So even
if you don't know, a family office is just few or a bunch of families get together, pool their money is private, and they have an asset manager and a property manager, and they have a team evaluating, but it's the family money. The family pools money together, so now they have $1 billion and they go invest that as opposed to going to the stock market or a hedge fund. That's a family office. There's tons of them across the country. But yeah, if you're a realtor in residential, just stop trying to do these deals. Just whether it be me, we're very well connected, so we have agents across the country, but get someone who can help you do this properly so you do get paid. I mean, we send out a couple $100,000 back to realtors every single year because we get it done.
Well, I also see like in that industry, a lot of people like will start a deal and then they'll kill it. They'll start a deal and kill it because they just don't know what they're doing, or their buyer seller figures out they don't know what they're doing versus if they just send it to you. And talk to me, and sorry, I'm going to go on a side note here, 'cause I think you do a great job at this. How does an agent like make their client feel like you're just a part of their team? Because I think a lot of people are like, well, I know Johnny over here, he's in commercial, I'm going to send you over to him and he'll take care of you. I think you do a pretty good job of like, how does the agent hand it off to you where the person doesn't feel like they're getting referred, but it's more like, hey, he's part of my team. Like, how do you tell an agent to hand that off to you?
We typically say, this is just our partner. So it's either an email introduction or a text introduction, like, hey, I want to introduce you to my partner, Robert Kramer. He's on the commercial front.
Which sounds crazy different. Sounds crazy different.
Yeah.
Partner.
Which is the truth. We are partnering on this deal together. I'm going to be leading the charge. We do deals out of state. That's how we do it out of state. So like if you lived in Florida, I would say, look, Justin, I don't want you to lose the relationship. I'm not going to fly to Florida to go on a property tour. You go on the tour. You help with what I need you to help with. I'll do all the heavy lifting. We'll just do the deal 50-50.
Makes sense.
And agents love that because they're making 50%. Yeah. And they don't know what they're doing. It's fantastic.
And you love it because you're not having to get in the property and walk the property and
there's probably like 5 to 10 deals a year where I'll never see the property or the claim.
That's crazy.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think we first got connected when I was originally, I didn't do anything until I got to here, but Nashville, we were looking at some property and you had some stuff going on, and I never ended up doing anything out in Nashville, but that totally makes sense in my brain now, like how you were doing that and how you were partnering. And
because, even now, I don't care where they were. I'm an EXP now, EXP commercial, but I don't care if they're with Ebby Halliday or Compass. I don't care. If I'm referring, I want good help.
Yeah.
Because I know they know what they're doing. I'm not going to get burned. Yeah. I can trust them.
I love
the same adage of we do business with people we know, like, and trust.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. And while I got you here, the last question I have is because, people do know me as the virtual assistant guy, but I always say that, like, I've learned more from my clients using virtual assistants than I have, right? Like, I got to a point where, I had 150 team members, but even then, like, I don't work with my VAs every day anymore, just so you guys are on the forefront of learning what's best. And so, like, I know you've helped other commercial brokers and other business owners use virtual assistants. Like, what would you say is, like, the popular thing to use them for? Like, I know we could do social media and I know we could do graphics, but you said something earlier about like CRM management, which I think is kind of cool. So for people out there on here that have messy CRMs, I think that's a great hype.
Yeah, well, just for example, I got a virus on an Apple somehow and it wiped out my CRM. How does that happen? It's a virtual CRM. It wiped out all my contacts and I couldn't get it back.
I've had it happen to me too. So
we're talking 15 years. So I was really excited. That was awesome. So just for example, I need to hire this person so I can use AI, which will go back and scan all of my emails, pull all the contacts out, and then send it to a CRM. But then I have to go back and make notes and crap. So what I'm going to be using this CRM manager for is to make sure everybody I have on my CRM, my updated CRM, I'm attached to on LinkedIn or social media. And then they're going to go through and make sure I have birthdays or notes, or if we bought before, if we closed the deal before. And then when other birthdays, make sure we're sending a message out. They're going to handle all of that stuff
Cool.
just instead of automation. So, because unlike residential, they always tout a 33 touch. If I harassed people 33 times a year, they would just hire me,
Commercial
right?
side, yeah.
Yeah. So once a month, though, I want to be sending out a newsletter, or this is what's happening, or the rates are going up, or the tariff, blah, 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 or the war's over, right? Something of value to my agents knowing I'm still in commercial real estate. They can handle it for me. So I can almost set and forget it, let them run with it, adjust, change. That's just a real simple, easy thing that I don't want to do. Well, I can handle it perfectly.
What's the biggest mistake? You've helped people hire VAs too. Like, what are the biggest mistakes you've seen? Like, you mentioned your mistake was like just thinking they come pre-trained. But what are some other mistakes you've seen people make when hiring?
What I love is Sphere Rocket so far, being a white label partner, y'all have been very responsive and able to adapt really quickly if there's an obstacle we need to adjust, which is fantastic. But one thing that I think the biggest thing is the training. I mean, everybody can say the right thing on the phone and act a certain way on the phone, but
especially now in AI, right?
But getting into action and having results, different story. So a lot of people see that first round or the second round, the results they're not getting, and they just get tired. They actually don't fire them. They just kind of forget about them and not communicate. They just keep paying a little bit here and there until 6 months goes by and like, I think we should go a different direction. Then they quit. When the reality is all they needed to do was reach out to Sphere Rocket or look internally and say, have I trained them so they know what I actually want? If you do that properly, you're right. It may not be the first or the second, but that's with people. You're dealing with people.
Well, and it's funny you say that because, like, I think sometimes, and you know, I say this all the time, people think like Sphere Rocket, our white label partners, like a recruiter. You could take. I've learned a lot about like Korn Ferry. Like, I didn't know Korn Ferry was like an executive search company, and I started to look into Korn Ferry not long ago, and I was like, what's their success rate, right? And I'm a big sports junkie. Yeah. You got any favorite sports teams? Cowboys and
Dallas.
Okay.
Painful.
We might see this play out in Dallas here in the future, but like when you have these teams look for like head coaches and they'll spend millions of dollars in search, they'll do hundreds of interviews, and then the coach comes in and is like a complete dud. The NFL team doesn't just go, oh, you know what? We're so mad at ourselves. We're just not going to hire another head coach. I've never once seen an epic failure turn into the decision to not hire another coach just because one failed. Right? It could have been their interview process. It could have been that coach just wasn't a fit. He might go down this year just because of all the distractions he's caused himself, right? And so we look at all these different situations, and I think it's interesting you say it on the VA world. It's like no VA company, no recruiter is going to come and solve all your issues.
It's these weird false expectations of reality. It's like, that's not going to happen.
It's like,
you know, I'm a big golfer. You're into golf now, which I love. But it's the same thing. People expect, like, I have 100 yards. I should be within 5 feet. Look at the pros. 100 yards, you're still 20. Our mental expectation of what the reality of things should be is so askew.
Yeah,
it's
we've actually talked about changing one of our slogans at Sphere Rocket to like the company that when your hire fails will be there to back you up, right? It's not like if something's gonna fail or it like we've had great hires we've placed even in my own team where they come in, they crush it for 6 months, and then the person will be like, well, I don't want to work anymore. Like, because for me, I'm like, I could never imagine a life not working, but they're like, oh yeah, my spouse like makes a ton of money and I just don't want to work anymore. And it's like your business has to be prepared. Like, everything could go right. If you trained them right, we got you a great hire, everything. And it's like, yeah, it was moving. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you can't just put your eggs all in one basket to go, this is going to work.
This will always work.
It was funny you said something about golf. It's still in my mind. Rory McIlroy, I was watching, my wife, she's watching a little bit more golf with me because she wants to see what I'm up to. You kind of becoming a Scotty Scheffler fan, and we were in, we went somewhere on vacation real fast, and we were watching a full 18 rounds, and it said Rory hit 3 of 18 fairways. And she said, you hit more than 3 fairways last round. And I was like, yeah, see, like I'm not a pro, but like even the pros are hitting 3 of 18 fairways, and he's still, I don't even know, ranked number 2 maybe. Is that what he is? Like
he's got the favorite swing. I mean, yeah, he's swinging his pound, his shot, his distance per pound of body weight. And what I like about him is his foundation and the structure of his swing are so sound they don't move.
Yeah.
If you look at Scheffler, he's all over the place. If something goes wrong with his swing, I think he's screwed.
Yeah.
Time on task over time again. He said 1,000 repetitions, hit millions of golf balls, so it's not going to happen. But with Rory, it's so solid to me. It will always, it's crazy.
Well, it's even like you say that, like with the business world, it goes perfectly. It's like in the business world, you have the right foundation, you have a good onboarding process, you kind of know what you want, you spend some time training. You could have a bad person in there, but you're going to figure it out real fast, and then you're going to have a chance to move where you, like you said, I think a lot of us too, in the VA world, we start to feel sorry. I'm just going to, like you said, have plenty of those. I'm just not going to ignore them for a while. Yeah. And then resentment builds up, and then one day you're just like, you're gone. It's like, that's not fair to anybody, you or them or all the above. So I love it, man. Well, kind of as we kind of wrap up here, like, what are any like parting words? Like, a lot of my audience too, it's very diverse, right? When I first started, my audience was, when I first got started, I started selling to like 60, 70, 80-year-old real estate agents, like Facebook ad training, right? And then I have audience members on here that know me now because they're like, oh, he started at 15. So like, if you were to say one thing that would like encompass all people, like just kind of as like a general thing you've learned or piece of advice, what would kind of be that parting piece of advice be?
If you're in a sales environment, it's time on task over time. You got to find a way to diversify with leads. I mean, more sales will solve problems. If you're having a hard time finding leads, you're gonna have to think outside the box and find a way to get more leads. You can't just try it for a day, right? Any path to lead generation, it will take time, but you have to spend time on task and you got to front load it. So if you have the capability, I know we have families and dogs and kids and sports world, but the more time you spend on lead generation, everything else will take care of itself unless you're just selling a shitty product or you suck. If you contact 100 people a day or even a week and you get all no's, get out of the business.
Well, it's funny because you and I both come from Keller Williams, and one of the first things I ever heard Gary Keller say when I was in he said, sales cures all. Yeah, Gary, but what if like you're shitty at customer service? Well, and someone else asked it. I wasn't brave enough to ask it. And he'd go, well, guess what? You make enough sales, you make enough money, and you're bad at customer service, you can hire someone to do your customer service. And he's just like, sales cures all. I love that. I absolutely love that.
It's the truth.
It's awesome, man. Well, I'm going to put some of your contact details down below in the podcast. So, but where can they find you? Like, how can they reach out to you? They'll obviously have your cell phone numbers and Facebook links and different things. But what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, just my email, creamer@7s.life, or my cell phone. I'm sure I'll compose this here.
Yep.
Or our website, 7s.life.
Cool.
That's it.
Badass, man. Well, I appreciate you coming into the studio. I think you are officially the second in-person podcast interview for us. We're learning our commercial space and how it works out here. And
I'll have to do a silly one on the golf course.
yeah, we will. How far out are you back from being on the golf swing?
They said 12 weeks to full mobility and 3 disc replace. Yay. Not recommended, 1 star. Okay.
So does that mean like 16 weeks probably? Because I couldn't even imagine going full mobility and then start hacking.
It's been 7 weeks. They said I'm cleared to chip and putt now.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Well, then I chip and putt wrong because chip and putting hurts my back and my mobility, so I must be doing something wrong.
It's that slight bend.
It is. Especially being a little bit out of shape and overweight. So
no, golf people don't know, but if you swing properly, it's a lot of pressure on your lower back and your knees. I mean, it's a lot of movement, torque.
Well, especially when you miss-hit something. Me and Ben were talking about this the other day. It's like you hit a ball good and you're like, all right, I felt good, but you whiff on one or you chunk it or you're out for a week.
You hit a root and the ball you don't know is there.
You're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, man. Well, for those that are watching, guys, that's another episode of the Leverage Podcast. Once again, make sure to follow all of Robert's stuff down below. If you're residential real estate, it actually makes me mad during this episode. I would have had like $1 million more in cash if I would have known someone like you early on in my real estate career. You know, I had an 8-year career in real estate and I'm still in it, but it's just like, man, I could have made
it's never too late.
Never too late.
I'd say most millionaires aren't millionaires until they're like 55 or 60, and most millionaires are like 65 or 70.
It's crazy. I think, I saw like 51, 54, I think is what I saw in The Millionaire, and it's like...
now we have a 22-year-old female billionaire, youngest one ever. She did that call sheet.
Crazy.
When you can bet the online betting for anything, you can bet on how many cars are going to go through the green light. I mean, that's so absurd. That's the world of degenerates.
Who knows? Well, it's a world made for me, I guess. So, well, man, I appreciate you being on here, and for the audience, we will see you guys on the next episode.
Thanks for having me.